Hello again, Year 7. Last lesson we learnt how to find factors and multiples. Hopefully you've had a chance to practice that because today we are going to be building on that. We want to talk about highest common factors and lowest common multiples. So HCF stands for the highest common factor. So what you will be given is two numbers and you want to find the factors of all of those numbers. And you're trying to find the largest number, the largest factor that is common to both of the numbers that you were given. So for example, if you were asked to find the highest common factor of 24 and 40, first of all, you want to list all the factors of 24. So remember the first factor is always 1, and then we check each number as we count upwards. So 24 divided by 2, yes, that goes nicely. 24 divided by 3, yes, that goes nicely. 24 divided by 4, yes, that goes nicely. 24 does not divide by 5 nicely, so skip that one. 24 divides by 6. 24 does not divide by 7 nicely. It does divide by 8 nicely. And then after that, my next one is going to be 12. And then once we're halfway, we know that 24 will be the last one. So remember that you can check that you've got the pairs. 1 times 24 makes 24. 2 times 12 makes 24. 3 times 8 makes 24. And 4 times 6 makes 24. So you can see that you haven't missed any. Now let's write all the factors of 40. So we start with 1. Does 2 divide nicely into 40? Yes, it does. 3 doesn't. 4 does. 5 does. 6 doesn't. 7 doesn't. 8 does. 9 doesn't, but 10 does. Once we get to 10, then it's not going to be any more until we get to 20, and then finally 40. So again, you can check your pairs in there to make sure that you haven't missed any. So if you look at those two lists of factors, we're trying to find numbers that happen in both of them. So for example, 1 is common in both of them, 2 is common in both of them, so is 4, and so is 8. So there are actually 4 common factors: 1, 2, 4, and 8. But we don't want all the common factors, we just want the highest common factor. Okay, that means the largest number out of the common factors, which of course is the 8. Okay, then we move on to LCM, which stands for the lowest common multiple. Remember that multiples are like your times tables. So it refers to the lowest or smallest multiple that is common to both numbers provided in the question. So here is an example if I want to find the lowest common multiple of 20 and 12. So let's go through starting with 20 and write down some of our 20 times tables. 20 times 1 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40, 20 times 3 is 60, 20 times 4 is 80. So we're basically adding on 20 each time, which will make it easy to do a few more. 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200. That's plenty. I'll put some dots at the end, meaning that I could find more if I wanted to. There's no end to the list of multiples. Factors, there's a set amount, but multiples just keeps going and going. So now let's do the multiples of 12. So our 12 times tables. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. Okay, so again, you're adding on 12 each time. So let's quickly write down a few more. 72, 84, 96, 108, 120, and let's say that will be enough. So now we're looking for the common numbers in each list. So we've got 20, but that doesn't happen in both of them. 40 doesn't have it in both of them. 60 does. And then the next one to happen in both is the 120. So therefore the common multiples of 20 and 12 are, the first one was 60, the next one is 120. You could probably predict that the third one would be another 60 on from there, which is 180, and there'd be more after that as well. But when we're looking at multiples, we're always after the lowest common multiple, okay, the lowest number. Okay, so in this case, that is going to be the 60, the lowest common multiple. So when you're doing this, you don't need to make huge long lists. You just need to go until you find one number that is common to both of them. So on the next page, there's a note here that says, note the lowest common multiple of two numbers can always be found by multiplying the two numbers together and then dividing by the highest common factor. So for example, we want to find the lowest common multiple of 20 and 12. It tells us that the highest common factor of 20 and 12 is 4. Now we could find that by writing our lists out, but for this question, we've been told that the highest common factor is 4. So to find the lowest common multiple using this rule here, it is found by multiplying the two numbers together. So that is 20 times 12, that was the two numbers that I was given, and then dividing by their highest common factor, and the highest common factor was 4. So we are dividing by 4. So 20 times 12 divided by 4 makes 60, which is what we found when we did it the long way just a second ago. Okay, so it's up to you whether you like that method or not. It means that you have to be very certain of your two methods of finding lowest common multiples and highest common factors so that you're not going to get yourself confused. Let's have a look at the examples that are here. Find the highest common factor of 36 and 48. So first of all, it says here that we want to list the factors of 36. So always we start with 1. So 1 is the first factor, 2 goes into 36, 3 goes into 36, so does 4, 5 doesn't, but 6 does, 7 and 8 both don't, but 9 does, 10 won't, 11 won't, 12 does. Okay, you can start looking for your pairs in here now. So you can see that we've got 4 times 9 is 36. So 3 times 12 makes 36. 2 times, so the next number is going to be 2 times 18 makes 36. And 1 times 36 makes 36. Okay, now let's find all the factors of 48. So we have 1 that works, then 2, 3, 4, 5 doesn't work, 6 goes in, and 8. Now 6 8s are 48. So we found two pairs here, two numbers that go together. So 4 times is with 12 to give 48, so that will be the next one. 3 times is with 16 to make 48. 2 times is with 24 to give 48. And 1 times 48 makes 48. Okay, so now we want to find the highest common factor of 36 and 48. So let's have a look. The highest, so we've got 1 is a common factor, 2 is a common factor, 3 is a common factor, 4 is a common factor, 6 is a common factor, then 12 is a common factor, and that is it. So the highest common factor that was in both of them is the number 12. Okay, question 2 says to find the lowest common multiple of 5 and 11. So it suggests here that I find the multiples of 5. So the multiples of 5 are the 5 times tables. So 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Okay, now let's find the multiples of 11. So 11 times tables are 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. And we can stop there because I've just heard a number that I said in the first list, 55. There it is. Okay, is the first number that came out of both lists. So the lowest common multiple of 5 and 11 is 55. Okay, now that is the method that I suggest that most of you will probably prefer to use. However, if you would like to try that shortcut that was written in the note at the top of the page here, the rule said we can find the lowest common multiple by multiplying the two numbers together. So that would be 5 times 11. And we divide by the highest common factor. Now the highest common factor of 5 and 11, there's not very many factors in common. 5 only has two factors, 1 and 5, and 11 only has two factors, 1 and 11. So the highest common factor is actually just 1. So if we work that out, 5 times 11 is 55, and divide that by 1 is still 55. You get the same answer. Let's try again for part B. We want to find the lowest common multiple of 6 and 10. So let's write out our list of multiples. So the 6 times tables are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. Let's see if that's enough. Now we want the multiples of 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, we had any numbers in common yet? Yes, we have. So the first factor to pop up was this number, sorry, multiple, not factor. The first multiple to crop up was the number 30. So the lowest common multiple is 30. Let's check that with our other method. So the method says to multiply your two numbers together, 6 times 10, and divide by the highest common factor. So the highest common factor of 6 and 10, the highest number that you could divide both of them by would be 2. So 6 times 10 is 60, divide that by 2 is 30, and we do get the same answer.